Hello, and welcome back to another amazing episode of Denta. Hi, how are you? I'm Ella Lamara, and we're back with our special programming, which is our 5 beautiful episodes that we have with CBRC Two Spirit programs, specifically with the knowledge seekers. This episode, I have a beautiful, fantastic person chatting with me, Jordyn Bernard.
Hey everyone, my name is Jordyn Bernard. I'm originally from Wagle First Nation, but I now live in Halifax, on the far East Coast, polar opposite where you guys are located. So, we see the sun first
Yeah,
for the people of the dawn.
people of the
Um,
dawn. I love that.
that's what we're called, yeah. But yeah, I'm very passionate about Two Spirit people with community, to help create safe spaces, to help educate other people about who we are as people. And I try really hard to center myself and other people in conversations where we're not usually part of. And yeah, I like to help us to heal each other and to grow together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that completely. It comes from for myself anyways, it comes from this place of not having these spaces. And then we get to this point where like I can actually help facilitate and create these spaces for other people to create that moment which I didn't have.
Even for me, being from the far East Coast, I'm the only person out here that's part of knowledge seekers. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I feel
Mhm.
so outcasted, but the same way I feel so accepted and loved and accepted here. And it's so nice to be part of this. But yeah.
It's amazing having you here because your perspective is fantastic. And every time I'm in a knowledge seekers meeting with yourself, I'm like, oh, Jordan's here. It's just like, when people have that energy that you want to bring into a room and you have that energy of openness and caring, which we love and we appreciate. All right, Jordan, we are going to be talking about sexual health, which happens with our Bodies, Our Health surveys that happened last year. So, would you like to tell us a little bit about your experience with the Knowledge Seekers and why did you join them?
Um, the reason why I joined you guys is because I wanted to help grow community, especially being out so far out east. I don't think people have much opportunity to grow to join things like this and to create space for people. You know what I mean? Like I always say, I want to be the person I wish I had growing up, and I will continue to do things that are unheard of for me, just to keep creating more spaces. You know what I mean? Just be part of things I'm not usually part of, and just this was kind of a challenge for me, basically, because I don't really know much about research, but I have a lot of lived experience. So I just figured I could try to join and see what happens.
And it works out. And then that's one thing we talk about a lot is that our lived experience is a form of research. We've been doing it our
Hmm.
whole lives. And then our lived experience is a form of expertise. And it's something that really needs to be celebrated because that's where change can happen. But you mentioned earlier that you wanted to be, just paraphrasing, like the role model that you wish you had when you were younger. When did that light switch happen for you? Because I remember when I was doing things and I was like, oh, I wish I had this when I was younger. And then I was like, oh, wait, I'm that person I wish I had when I was younger. And I will admit I ran from it a bit. I was like, no, I don't want to have a responsibility. I don't want people to look at me with as a role model. And then I learned to lean into it because
You embraced it.
yeah, exactly, because it's going to happen anyways.
True.
When was that moment for you when you realized you were that person?
Um, I mean, I transitioned 12 years ago, so probably the past couple years, I would say the
Mhm.
past 2, 3 years, when I've been doing more things with Two Spirit people and just wishing I had these type of conversations and connections I had when I was younger. And just wishing I had those growing up. And I just want to be like I said, I want to be the person I wish I had growing up. So, just trying to do the best that I can.
Yeah, and we talk
Try to,
about
try to heal my inner child.
hmm Perfect. And that's a journey in itself, trying to heal that inner child, and then just becoming that role model because representation matters. And I don't think we don't realize how much it matters until you realize looking around a room, you don't have that connection.
I always say people always make comments about me being on TikTok, things like that. I'm like, I'm just like me being visible is enough. You know what I mean? Me put myself
Mhm.
out in the world and living my life, living my authentic self is enough for people to say, oh, she's doing it. I can do it too. It's like I love being visible, I guess. That's why I'm on here, I guess.
Look at me. I get that. I resonate with that so much. All right. So, is there a highlight that you have of your time with the knowledge seekers so far?
I would say probably when I went to the Two Spirit Conference in November. That
Hmm.
was so incredible for me to be in a room with a bunch of Two Spirit people across Canada. Like that blew my mind. I was like, I'm not alone. I just felt so welcomed and loved there. And just to be at CRBC conference in general, like to be in a room of so many queer people across Canada, that blew my mind too. Like it's the biggest, I think it's the biggest queer conference across Canada, is it not?
Yeah, biggest queer
Yeah.
research conference. It's
Hmm.
so good. But yeah, I wanna talk about this a little bit more before we get into the sexual health part of our conversation. But we've both been in rooms with all Indigenous people, and it's awesome and it's amazing. But then you don't realize the shift until you're in a room with all Two Spirit people. Like that sense of joy of looking
So
around and
much
being like,
beautiful.
there's yeah, so the love there, the caring that's taken into the space, the wanting to make space for everyone to have a conversation and be open with it. It's truly eye-opening, and then you realize what you're missing when you go back home and you're like, I need my
It's
two spirit
depressing,
spaces.
isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and you're like, how can I
Like, wah,
recreate this?
wah.
Yes, I adore it. I agree with you. My first Two Spirit conference that I went to, the Two Spirit Symposium, was just so eye-opening, and I loved it, and I want to keep doing it. We're gonna go jump right into Our Bodies, Our Health, which is a survey that we discussed last year during the Pride Circuit we had. Do you feel that there is a better way for individuals to advocate for themselves in sexual health?
I think so. I think for me, it's all about being feeling comfortable in your body and
Hmm.
helping to have someone respect you completely inside and out. Because if you don't have respect, you don't have nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just feel like for years, all I wanted was a man to make me feel like a woman. Now I have the option. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
just crazy to me that literally I was just like going with whatever for so long just to feel more like a woman. And now that I'm so far into my transition, looking back, I kind of regret some of those things, but you can't regret things. You know what I mean? It just taught me a little bit about who I am as a person. So, yeah.
It's like a journey that we have with our own self-discovery. Like we don't really know what we need until we do something. You're like, wait, don't really know what I want yet, but I know I don't want that. And it's
Yeah.
kind of like
So
this journey of self-discovery.
it's important to know what you want, what you don't not, even more what you don't want.
Yeah, exactly. And then you mentioned earlier about respect, and it's so true, especially when you're talking about sex, because we have these conceived notions about how we have to either keep it hidden or don't talk about it, and that creates a level of unsafety. So when we have these surveys like Our Bodies, Our Health, or the Knowledge Seekers, where we go out and have these open conversations with people, we create this relationship with them so we can have truthful conversations. Do you feel that before going into knowledge seekers or before your transition, just the idea of talking about sex was taboo?
Mm. Well, I always say I had to come out twice. First, as
Hmm.
a quote unquote gay man who likes other men. That didn't fit for me, so I just transitioned, I guess. Well, men can tell me if I wanted to date a woman, I'd date a woman. Like, date a woman then. And that ended up being
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was always very feminine. So, I just, looking back, I don't even know what I was trying to do.
Hmm.
I find my place in the world, I guess. But yeah, what was the question again? I'm sorry.
The question was talking about sex before transition or being with the knowledge seekers, did it feel taboo?
I
Like, you know
wouldn't
what I
say it
mean?
feels taboo. I just realized what I need in sex to feel comfortable. And that's
Hmm.
so important to have someone that, respects your body inside and out. Like
Yeah.
you're literally giving yourself to someone. You're not realizing this, but in the moment you're giving yourself to someone else. You know what I mean? And that
Hmm.
exchange is like so powerful in a way too, in my opinion. But yeah. So in order to give myself to someone else, I need to make sure they respect me first.
Yes. And liaising on that, is there at any moment that you feel more connected to your body and gender during sex?
Mm, how explicit can we get in this?
You can get as explicit as you want.
Um, I don't know. I feel like for me, having my breasts done was so important for me because it made me feel more feminine and made me feel more comfortable in my own body. And like the way men look at me now is so different. It's weird because like I didn't think this would happen to me,
Mhm.
but like men like look at me so differently now. And that just blows my mind. I'm like, really? They're just, well, not fat, but like for me, silicone, but like fat on your body. You know what I mean? I was joking to say, why do men love fat on people's chest and not fat anywhere else?
Yeah,
So
it's a good
weird.
question. So
But yeah.
you've noticed a big shift with attention
Hmm.
post and pre-surgery of the
Yes.
breasts.
Hmm.
Yeah, is that something that's welcoming?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's body sorry, gender affirming.
Gender affirming care.
Gender affirming. I meant for yourself. Was it gender affirming?
Yes, it was. Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, what does pleasure feel like for you, and how where were you taught to create it? When I'm thinking about myself, when I thought about pleasure and when I was bridging into the realm of sex, and I'm gonna bring my indigenous background into it, where we had so much shame built around it. I call it the Christian worldview about sex. So we didn't talk about it. So having this queerness and then sex added to it, there was just no conversations around it. So me going out into the world, I had no idea what was going on. There wasn't talked about it in schools. There was nothing that we talked about it, and I just feel that there was a moment where I had to really learn how to harness my own pleasure, whether it be with sex or whether it be with just connections with people, because I just didn't know how to create it. Is there any moments that you feel that there was a disconnect, or you had to go outside of yourself to find this knowledge?
Um, it's a very interesting question. Well, for me, people don't really know this, but I'll tell you guys. I was diagnosed with HIV back in 2020. And for me, that was so eye-opening for me, because I didn't realize what I was doing to my body. I was so sick. I was so sick. I'm 6 foot tall, and I was 112 pounds. People
Oh,
thought I had an eating disorder. My body was shutting down. I was like, it was crazy. So I was in the hospital for a full month during COVID, which is hard to do because you can't see your family, can't see your friends. You know what I mean? I was in there by myself. And I just thought to myself, oh my God, people are going to judge me. People are going to hate on me. No one's going to love me. You know what I mean? I thought the worst of myself. Not be like my parents are going to hate me. They're not going to, and like, that's not, none of that's true. None of that was true. So looking back, I really wish that I should probably tell you this, but before I got technically diagnosed, I knew I had it for 8 years. So I
mhm.
was living it for so long to the point where my body was starting to shut down. And when I went to the hospital, they told me that I was diagnosed with AIDS. That's how severe it was, which blew my mind. I was like, what the hell? My life's over. And as soon as I was in the hospital, one of my nurse, they told me, people living with HIV nowadays, they have a longer life expectancy than people living with diabetes. I'm like, what? That's crazy. That blew my mind. I was just like, that's crazy to me. Like, I was not expecting to hear that from a trained professional, you know what I mean? But I guess nowadays, like, um, HIV research is so advanced and like it's so out there now, and just like it's not what it was in the 80s, you know what I mean? My parents were so scared they thought I was going to die. My dad wouldn't even eat from the same freaking cutlery I had. I'm
It's
like,
crazy
Dad.
when you think about the misconception, especially with HIV or
Even me judging
uh,
myself, you know what I mean?
mhm,
Like I was a true advocate to what you're saying right now, judging yourself and judging things that you don't know. And I didn't
mhm,
know anything. So that's why I was judging myself. So,
mhm. And it's great to know. Well, it's like just with like you mentioned earlier, HIV research that it's no longer a death sentence. Like we
mhm.
still want to protect ourselves, we still want to keep ourselves safe, but it's no longer that life-ending
Oh, I know.
ailment.
It's crazy. Just
Hmm.
one pill a day changed my life.
Yeah, and now you're healthy,
Yes.
and you're standing strong and proud, and you're being that advocate that you wanted to see. It's
Trying to
awesome
be
to see.
here.
Yeah. Well, thank you for
You know,
sharing that with us and being vulnerable. Uh, and we just talked a little bit about misconceptions around HIV, but do you feel that there is more Misconceptions around sexual health?
Um, as a two-spirit person or just in general?
Two-spirit person, or in general, however you want to talk about it with your own worldview as a two-spirit person. That's awesome. Or observations you see out in the world.
I often think there's a lot of misconceptions in general. And just for me, like, I'm sorry, can you ask me the question again?
If you feel there's any big misconceptions regarding sexual health.
Hmm.
Like, you know
For
what I'm
me,
thinking?
consent
Oh,
is
sorry.
so important. If you
Hmm.
don't consent, whether it's like I'm to the point in my life where men, if they want to like push themselves on me, I'm like, no, 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 you can
Hmm.
leave now. You know what I mean? Like it's just awkward for me now. I'm not gonna sit
Hmm.
there and let you do things I don't like. You know what I mean? I'm way past that point in my life. So
Hmm.
to sit there and to take things that you don't want done to you, that's basically like a form of rape. You know what I mean? And like you need to advocate for yourself in those moments because I've been many times in my life where men have pushed themselves on me and I didn't want it. And I wouldn't say anything because I was scared. But, I need to start sticking up for myself and telling people how I feel. So that was the biggest thing for me is learning about consent and realizing that you need to consent throughout the whole process and be like, are you okay with this? Are you cool? And just little check-ins here and then, you know what I mean, here and there. And it's so important to me.
Yeah, it's so true when we're talking about consent because it's something that we had to learn, even though now that speaking for
I learned
myself,
the hard
no,
way.
yes, and we know so much about it that now it just seems like common sense, common knowledge, but
Hmm.
it's still not, which is crazy. And you being a beautiful, tall woman, I can only imagine if you were in a bar or a club, the unwanted advances. And I see it sometimes when I'm going out where not all men, but some men, they don't understand when you say no.
No means
We need to,
no.
yes, I was about to say we need to go back to realize that no is a complete sentence and no
Hmm.
means no. And it's
Agreed.
crazy when you think about consent in that way. And they had to have all these people talking about lived experiences for us to realize that the concept of consent is an issue in this world.
It is.
It needs to be talked about more.
Agreed.
We talked a bit about our misconceptions about sexual health. Now, can we go into a little bit about how we understand our sexuality and gender differences? Can we talk about how sexuality and gender are not the same?
Mm. I think sexuality and gender often begins with curiosity and self-awareness. Sometimes we notice what feels affirming, what we and who we connect with, um, and how we want to express ourselves, or what feels true to us. Culture, family, community, media, and lived experience all shape our journey. For those, and for some of those people, understanding comes early. Um, and for others, it takes time, especially as a two-spirit person. Um, reconnecting with identity, sorry, um, can also mean reclaiming teachings and that has been that's been long lost before colonization tried to erase them.
Yes, exactly. It is so true that we need to realize that these differences are there. Like, like our gender does not define our sexuality, and our sexuality isn't defined by that gender. They're two separate concepts that do play together, but they're not synonymous.
That's why I often say that I don't feel comfortable being grouped into LGBTQIA
Hmm.
because I'm trans. That's how I view myself. It's not my relationship with other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're the
Hmm.
only people in that whole group that only looks at themselves. Yet we're
Hmm.
grouped in.
Yeah.
I get it. Like we need to have a part somewhere, but you know what I mean? It just doesn't really sit well with me very well, but I don't know.
Yeah. You're still part of the community for sure because we are on our gender expression, but also at the same time, trans identity is the only one that's not connected to sex in
Hmm.
that acronym. You know what I mean? Like you could
It
be,
doesn't really make sense to me, but yeah.
yeah, I get what you're saying. Still part of the community, but like I said, the only one that doesn't revolve around a sexual identity.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. But you're still a sister. Okay. What does good sexual health mean to you?
Mm, good sexual health means feeling informed, respected, safe, and empowered. It means understanding your own body, having access to healthcare and information, communicating openly, practicing consent,
Yeah.
and feeling free from shame. It also means recognizing that sexual health includes mental, emotional, spiritual, and cultural well-being, and not just physical health.
Yes. That is so true with all that. I always like to say that informed sex is good sex. You know, like if you know your sexual status, if you know where you're at in life and you have informed sex with someone else, in my mind, in my opinion, that is the most freeing kind of sex because you get to be open with your sexual partner because you know you're keeping yourself safe, you're keeping them safe. Now, I'm hoping the person I'm sleeping with is also in that same mindset. And that's where that gamble comes in because you could do everything to keep yourself safe and the person you're with. But if they're not reciprocating that on that end, that's where that sexual unhealthiness can pop in. So we
You would
always have to
not
make sure.
believe ever since I came out, since I came out telling people that I'm HIV positive, I'm like, when's the last time you got tested? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? Have you been
Mhm.
sexually active? They're like, yeah. I'm like, and you haven't been tested in how long? Like a couple years? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind how many people don't understand like how important it is to know your status. And it's safer to have sex with someone that has HIV that is undetectable versus someone that you don't know, you know?
Yeah. And the process of getting an STI checkup now is so streamlined. I should
It's
say I
easy.
don't know all across Canada, but I know in BC it's really easy. You go in, you do your self testing. I always tell people because I'm a woman of a certain age, and I remember when they used to do the swabs for you, so
Hmm.
you'd have to bend over and they'd swab you. Now you get to swab yourself, which is awesome. It's so much more humanizing instead of you bending over and the nurse like taking a little swab. So they streamlined it, which is awesome. But I agree. I think we need to get rid of the stigmatization of going in for a sexual health test and get people to realize that it's just it, it should be a common practice if you're sexually active to get tested.
Agreed.
It's quite easy. Yeah. Yeah. Looking at our surveys they did, out of 232 respondents, said 59% were extremely satisfied with the quality of their orgasms. That's pretty good. Would you say you fit in that 59%?
No. It's crazy to me that literally because I'm a pre-op woman,
Mhm.
meaning I still have a dick, um, for me, sex is very difficult because it feels like the more feminine I become, the less my organs work, basically. So it's like I have to make a choice. Do I want to be more feminine or do I want more, how do I say this word? Accessibility to what I have.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I need to make that choice. And like for me, it's just like I don't even care anymore. Like it's been years since a man had me maybe gave me have an orgasm. Like it's been years. That's so sad to me.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
like it's crazy that we think that we have to make these choices for ourselves. So like this is my identity and then my sexual health. And then feel like you're in a predicament, a rock and a hard place in a way. But then at the
Yeah,
same time, you seem happy. I'm sorry,
I am.
I should not assume your sexual health with your happiness. That is not that is not where I'm going with that.
No, it's okay. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you told me yesterday I can go have surgery, everything be fine. I could have sex normally. When I say sex normally, I mean like have an orgasm, etc. You know what I mean? Like every other person does. If I could do all that and be easy peasy, I would do it 2 years ago. You know what I mean? But nothing's certain when you have surgery like that because it's such an invasive surgery, you
Hmm.
know? And like there's a idea that you might never have an orgasm again. I guess it's getting better and better, but like now there's like it's not guaranteed, which
Hmm.
blows my mind. Why would I want to go through all that shit in order to not have an orgasm again? You know? Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. And sorry, just talking about how you mentioned these surgeries, these big surgeries that you'd have to go through. It's just making me think about this argument about people being like, oh, these people are just going through these surgeries, or people are just transitioning here and there, everywhere. These are big surgeries, and no one is
This
just being
is.
like, this is just a thought I had. I'm just going to go in tomorrow. No,
Hmm.
these are processes that are take years to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think they realize that it's a big deal. It's not something that you're just woke up one day and like, well, time to get the snip, with the lack of a better words.
Oh my God.
Okay, it says sexuality has become a source of pressure. What can we say to folks listening who are overcoming this sense of pressure?
I would say don't try to rush yourself. There's no
Hmm.
time, there's no timeline for sex, intimacy, healing, or identity, or relationships. Social media and outside expectations can make it feel like we have to perform or fit into a certain idea of sexuality, you know? Um, but yeah, um,
I also feel that when we think about pressure to have sex, it's pushed on us at such a young age to do it, where we don't know what we're doing. Our partner doesn't know what we're doing if you're within the same age bracket. And then it's all focused on the end result. Like we don't think about the journey of the enjoyment of it. It's just, once again, lack of a better phrase, get in and get out. you know?
and ma'am, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, exactly. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Little tap on the button, send you on their way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think, yeah, like you mentioned, just have these open conversations. And I think that's what we need to have as well, as more people openly talking about sex to normalize the conversation. We normalize the act of it, but we don't normalize the conversations of it.
True.
And I feel if more people are willing to have these conversations with their parents, with their loved ones, with an auntie, with a cousin, it will make people uh, more willing to ask for help if they're unsure about something.
Well, everyone has sex, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Even though we don't want to think about it sometimes, like everyone
Yeah.
has sex,
Hmm.
regardless of how often it is. It's true though. Most people that are alive these days have sex, unless you're asexual,
Yeah.
you know?
And then why can't we not talk about that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a crazy form where the majority of the world is having sex, but we can't talk about it. And if we do
Hmm.
talk about it, it's supposed to be behind closed doors, or it's said in a way of like a whisper instead of loudly producing I have sex. And if you loudly say that you have sex, it has this double-ended sword that if you're a woman, you're a slut, but if you're a dude, you're a king.
You're the
And
man.
it, yeah, the man, what it is. But usually that man is that wham bam, thank you, ma'am. He
No,
may have a lot of partners, but is he pleasing his partners? Probably not.
no, definitely not.
So I bet they're the 59% on the survey that said they're happy with their orgasms because they're just thinking of their own.
It is. That's probably the truth. Yeah.
All right. So we surveyed people on various aspects of their sexual health. And of 193 respondents who had at least one sex partner in the last 6 months, 63% said they're extremely satisfied with their sex partners that were able to open up emotionally during sex. Do you feel that it's hard to connect emotionality with physical pleasure?
Well, I think I'm more demisexual. I need to make a connection with someone first. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I can't just, oh, drop your pants, let's have sex. That's
Hmm.
not who I am as a person. I need to make a connection with someone. I need to make you want me. You know what I mean? Make you want me
Hmm.
more. I need to make that connection because if I don't have that, I don't want to fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's so important to create that connection with someone first in order to like I'm literally giving myself to you. Keep that in
Hmm.
mind. You know what I mean? I'm opening up your body to pleasure you. And
Hmm.
like the fact that you don't want to have a conversation with me, no, not for me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You need that
But it's just,
aftercare, that little bit of cuddling
oh my God,
afterwards,
yes,
you know?
absolutely.
And also with myself personally, having like intense, passionate sex over something that lasts 3 minutes, I'm gonna pick that passionate moment
Hmm.
where you have that little emotional connection, like for that moment. If they leave afterwards in an hour and I don't see them again, I'll be fine.
Or you kick them out.
Yeah, exactly. I got to get the
Like I'm
bed. You
over
see
you.
the time? Yeah, exactly. I left $5 on the counter. Put that to your Uber.
Um,
Amazing. Okay, so we mentioned this earlier. Talking about sexual health is important for destigmatization. It's like normalizing it, making sure that we have these open dialogues to create this sense of safety and comfort when we talk about sex. What advice can you give the community members that destigmatize these conversations?
I would say start with compassion and curiosity instead of shame and judgment. Normalize conversations by talking openly, include inclusive language. Um, Remember that everyone deserves dignity. Elders, youth, parents, educators, and community leaders. We all have a role to play. Sometimes I can't say that word. De,
Destigmatization.
yes. Sorry, long day. I was at work and everything, but yeah. Sometimes it begins with a simple statement, as in like, is it okay to ask questions, or you're not alone in figuring this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very much that being open to have these conversations. You know, nothing's more demoralizing than being like, hey, I need to talk about sex with this person, and you have someone that you think you can talk to them about it, and all of a sudden you bridge the conversation, and they're like, whoa, 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 that's too much, you know? And I'm thinking about in my own personal experience where I'd be able to talk about sex with a lot of people, but as soon as I bring up queer sex in certain people, then it's too much. And you're like, okay, it's like, why is it okay to talk about straight sex, but as soon as you bring up queer sex, it's now too much for you to handle? You know what I
Taboo.
mean? Yeah, taboo. It's like we want to be able to destigmatize all aspects of sex so that we can have these healthy conversations. And we just want to be able to freely talk about it. Like how this conversation you and I are having a conversation with now. And
Yeah.
I feel that just feels fluid and easy, and hopefully someone that's going to listen to this and be like, you know what, we need to have some cool ass aunties like this that we can talk to about sex. And that's going to lead me on to our next question. How can we make sexual health more inclusive to two spirit people?
To make it more inclusive to spirit people, I think involving us in leadership, education, program design. That means representation in all sexual health resources, affirming healthcare, providers, inclusive language, culturally grounded teachings, safer spaces, and that no one feels like they're left out or fits like they need to fit into a binary. Inclusion happens when people feel seen, respected, and heard, um, exactly as who they are. You know what I mean?
Definitely creating these spaces where we can have those moments and cool ass aunties conversations with them.
We help.
We help exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so true to how to make this inclusive for two spirit people. Just to create spaces where they feel open. I
Mm,
know at CBRC we have our medicine bundle where it includes sexual health plus with traditional medicines, and I feel that's an awesome way to bring in indigenousness to queerness to sex to health to really open those doors for each side to
agreed.
have a good time.
Agreed.
All right, Jordan, I had such a great time conversing, having a conversation with you today. You're such a light in this world. You're very open. You're very, very, like you just, I mentioned earlier, you have an aura about you that says sex. No, I'm just kidding. You said an aura about you that says, like, I'm the person that I can have a conversation with, that we can have a moment to, to be honest.
Not me being sex. Oh my gosh. I'll take it. I'll take it.
There you go. All right,
I
Jordan,
love
before we sit,
you.
thank you. I enjoyed talking with you as well. Hopefully, our paths will cross again someday. Is there
Absolutely.
any last words you want to say regarding your views on indigeneity, two spiritness, and sexual health?
I would say go back to consent and make sure you're consenting yourself. Make sure you're asking other people they're consenting to do things with you, and just be open about it and have conversations. You know what I mean? Because I think if you don't have that safety, you're not going to feel comfortable at all. And for me, if I don't feel safe, sex is not going to feel good to me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think being so open and being so what your and state your needs, you know what I mean? Like tell people, okay, I don't feel like doing this today, or I don't want to do this today, and just being open about it and just make sure they understand that in order to feel comfortable moving forward. Um, but yeah, I would say consent is so important. Um, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. I agree. Consent is, if there's two people, it's a two-way street, right? You both need to enjoy yourself for good sexual health. And I really love that you brought back reference to consent because as Indigenous people, as Two-Spirit people, as trans people, as queer people, we are so used to giving so much and so much being taken from us that we need to own our own power so we can come into these sexual spaces and own our bodies as a sexual vessel if that's something
And
that we want to
survive.
give or take. Yes, exactly. Like you mentioned earlier, I am giving you a part of myself or I'm opening myself up for you to for this moment of connection that there needs to be that mutual respect and mutual consent.
Agreed.
Yeah. Thank you so much once again, Jordyn. I had such a great time chatting with you. I am so happy you're part of the Knowledge Seekers, and I hope to see each other again.
Absolutely. It was nice talking to you. We'll talk soon, okay, Ella?
Talk
Bye.
soon. Bye bye.